Hey gang, Dark Knave and Cram here with our TV recap of the week. We've got the good and we've got the ugly. So let's talk about the good first.
So we're going to start off by talking about Agents of S.HEILD, which is coming off of Agent Carter, which led into that pretty nicely. We pick back up 3 months later with two major story arcs here. The first one having to deal with trying to find other Inhumans, which takes part of the team down to Columbia. And the second one is really two story arcs kind of intertwined, which is Coulson trying to track down Malik, and also Malik taking care of Ward.
Hive.
Whatever. Anyway, so the Inhumans are tracking down what appears to be a speedster, who has a little bit of a hitch in terms of what's keeping her from being able to really be a true speedster in terms of how we normally think about them. But nonetheless, they're investigating to find out why some guns went missing.
Yeah, I really like Yo-Yo. Her abilities are cool. She can be a speedster in terms of moving very quickly, but she can only move in the breadth of one heartbeat, and then it immediately pulls her right back to where she was beforehand. So kind of a cool take on the abilities. I like how the members of the team figure it out, and then they're able to incapacitate her, only to find out that the reason she's stealing the weapons is because the police are basically terrorizing the town, and they want to destroy all the weapons so the police can't have them.
Mac and Bobby get kidnapped, and the rest of the team has to go save them from the police, who have an Inhuman with them as well.
He has abilities with his eyes. He basically freezes people and sets them into a sort of a comatose state. Something tells me that guy is going to be Basilisk. That's my guess, but he's got the whole Medusa thing going on.
The team comes into the police station, and they end up rescuing Bobby and Hunter, and just as they're about to capture the other Inhuman, Hydra shows up. In the end of this story arc, Bobby and Hunter are saved, and the Inhuman ends up getting away because of Hydra.
Hail Hydra!
Easy there, big fella.
Force of habit. Meanwhile, on the Coulson side of the fence, we see Coulson and the rest of the team bringing young Zemo back into their base and plugging him into the mind machine that has been used so many times on the show already. And as they're trying to extract his memories, he's in pretty bad shape, so he's stuck in sort of a loop until Lincoln comes over and gives him a little electric charge in the head, and he spits out enough information. Coulson uses that information to go to a Hydra safe house, and there's a little phone there that he can call Malik directly, traces the call, and lets Malik know that they're going to hit him financially, which I don't think matters because Malik doesn't seem to really care too much. So it's a Pyrrhic victory, but whatever, it's kind of a win for them. And Coulson ultimately winds up with a new hand, courtesy of Mr. Fitz.
At the end of the episode, we come back to Malik, who has his Inhuman buddy with him, and they're there with Ward.
Hive.
Whatever. And they're discussing whether or not they actually believe that he is who he says he is. And Ward says, "You'll believe when he believes." And then all of a sudden, Ward goes, and his hand starts to dissipate into the air. And we're left with that.
Definitely the powers of Hive, so no surprise there. How they're going to work, I'm not entirely sure. It could be different from the book, but he's absolutely showing the abilities of Hive. And it's interesting, the character's doing a good job of acting as someone else. So he's really not playing Ward here, he's playing this entity, and he's doing a nice job of it.
Yeah, and they allude to that in one of the little cut sections where he's coming up to speed on what's been going on the Earth. He's watching several different televisions, and he mentions the fact that, boy, they really haven't evolved. And he says, the Inhuman next to him says, "Who?" He goes, "The humans, but you're not human anymore."
Solid episode. Really enjoyed it. Some very good action sequences. It's really just a setup episode, but I'm actually okay with that because I think the storylines are compelling.
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job of showing the Powers team working together and how compelling the team really can be and how powerful they can be when they're working in conjunction with each other. I thought it was nice to see the little Fitz and Simmons thing at the end coming together and saying, okay, hey, let's start over again and take a step back. And
nice resolution.
Yeah, nice resolution there. And I also thought them showing, maybe the beginning of something going on with Coulson where he's willing to start pushing that edge, maybe beyond where he really should be comfortable. And I'm wondering if they're starting to set up for Coulson maybe being taken over in terms of from a position, maybe Daisy taking over or Bobby taking over.
It's also nice to see SHEILD being unofficially welcomed back by the US government, who's given them license to pretty much do their job, even though they're not acting in a capacity of the U.S. government, who will basically sell them out if they ever wind up doing anything wrong. Still, nice to see them get that tie back to the government, because I feel like that's been missing a little bit.
Yeah, I thought that was a good way to bring the general back in as well into the fold. Very interesting character. They did a lot to establish him in the past, and so they'll get more mileage out of him here.
Looking forward to the next episode. We will have that for you right here. So, Cram, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Have you seen that episode of Legends of Tomorrow where they find out where Savage is? They go to that time frame.
Okay.
They make a ridiculously complicated plot that would never work in a million years. It doesn't go well. They lose someone in the process,
Yeah.
or somebody gets knocked out or kidnapped. Savage gets away. It's a miserable failure. Kronos shows up. End of episode. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's every episode, gang. And it happened again this week. Seriously, that is every episode. So here's their idea for how to get to Savage. They're going to take the Adam and Kendra, an interracial couple. They're going to have them move into a neighborhood, a clearly segregated neighborhood, in the 50s.
And then they're going to take Martin and they're going to pair her up with White Canary, who obviously should have really been with Adam to blend in more, but no, we couldn't do that because we needed to drive the story in a different way. So we put them together and send them over to the hospital and have him pose as a doctor.
Lastly, we're going to have Jax, a young black man, hit on the girlfriend of one of the guys who went missing in town, a white girl, in the 50s, and see if they can make a relationship of some kind. This is a terrible plan. Of course, nothing goes the way they want it to. Everyone sees things for being what they are, which is very strange and out of place for the 50s. Plus, we got White Canary hitting on a nurse in a lesbian relationship in the 50s, which of course was extremely taboo. There's not a single piece of this that goes right except for one thing.
Which is the fact that Rip and Captain Cold pose as FBI agents.
That is the one and only piece of this whole puzzle that would actually work. And then to make matters worse, Kendra keeps showing up right in front of Vandal Savage, who has many times been shown to be able to pick her out of a lineup immediately for being what she is. An Egyptian goddess. I know, she used to be a barista. I've heard that story about 100,000 times. This story is getting very old. Everything goes wrong. Kronos shows up at the end. I'm not even kidding. Kronos shows up at the end. And everything goes upside down. And the chemistry still isn't there. Everybody's sniping at each other. They're all bitching nonstop and complaining. It's getting to be old, guys. I don't know what to tell you.
I can't stand it anymore. I'm at my wit's end because we've got the team agreeing to let Kendra attack him on his own. When you have somebody who can shrink down to miniaturized size and who could have been in the room when they set up the trap for him and then subdued him, so then she could then kill Vandal Savage. Episode over. That's it.
I have to echo Cram's frustration, guys. Plus, they had a scene where Firestorm explains that they can't merge on the ship because they'll destroy it. Even though we've seen Firestorm merge at Star Labs, which has just as explosive, volatile, sciencey stuff as the Wave Run. Guys, that's just not good. So there you have it. SHEILD was great. Legends of Tomorrow was not great. So that's going to do it for us in our TV review for the week. We saw Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which we really liked, and we saw Legends of Tomorrow, which we didn't like at all. Maybe you guys have a different opinion of Legends of Tomorrow than we do. Please feel free to drop that into the comment section if that's the case. Cram obviously will disagree with you, but we will still read your comments and take them to heart. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.